Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Inside Santa Fe Public School Podcast. I am Joe Abeta, and our guest today is a Capital High student, Azul Veleta. How you doing today, Azul?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. And teacher, Avid teacher from Capital High, Andrew Tarnow.
Tarnow, that works just fine.
There you go. Yeah.
Take two words and put them together. Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming on today. Appreciate it. And so we invited you because a big thing happened a couple of weeks ago in Mr. Tarnow's class. We celebrated you being selected to speak at the Avid conference in Anaheim. And it's a huge deal, right? Because it's a national selection, and they chose you to speak to teachers. Is that correct, Mr. Tarnow?
Yeah, it's teachers and administrators, counselors, just from all over the country, any school, any educator who's involved in the Avid program, which is a nationwide program. So people from all over.
Let's just real brief. What is the Avid program before we get into Azul's story?
Sure. So at Capital High School and throughout the district, at Capital High School, we're an Avid demonstration school. We're part of a nationwide program. The acronym's Avid. Advancement via individual determination. Started in the 80s out in California, and it was really the goal of how do you prepare students for college? College and career readiness is kind of our motto. But, how do we get kids ready to take notes, to read critically? How do we help them with the types of essays that are going to be needed on scholarships? And, there's different levels of Avid implementation throughout the country in different schools. At Capital, we're lucky to have dedicated elective classes for every grade. And that's kind of our task, is to prepare our students the best for college.
And you guys are a very successful program. You've sent a lot of students out to go on to college and to be successful out in the community. Just based on, because I think I was talking to Azul. We've had Raquel on. We had her on a couple of months ago, and her story, inspiring story. But it's really being able to give students the path to success, right? To be successful in school, but also to maybe think about doing something afterwards as well, correct? Absolutely.
We're trying to find students' passion in what they're interested in, and how do we kind of nurture that, and how do we get them to that next level? Raquel, our Avid class listened to that podcast of Raquel early in the year as part of, again, taking some notes and learning how to handle even the little things this is my first time on a podcast, but interviews and resumes and cover letters and everything that these students, certainly stuff I wasn't introduced to in high school.
Yeah.
Really Avid started as a place specifically for first generation college students.
Yeah.
And so, Azul can share her story in a little bit, but so that's really kind of our main focus, but really just, again, that college and career readiness, all those things that, not everybody, I guess, gets told and then finds out in the real world. So.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Yeah. Or if they're first generation college bound, that road can be tough, even for someone I know as a parent and having two kids that have gone through college. It's tough. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be covered, and sometimes it's good that you have someone in your school district being able to help and assist with that, right?
Yeah, and that's again why at Capital we're pretty lucky to have the elective program. It's one of the courses that our students can take, and there are requirements to be in the Avid. You have to maintain a 2.5 GPA. You have to keep those grades up. You have to do volunteer service. You have to be involved in extracurriculars. And those aren't just guidelines because we want them to be. Those are the types of things when you apply to colleges, you apply to jobs, you're going to want to be able to show here's how I was involved, here's the work I've done. So that's great.
Well, Azul,
Yes.
I want to ask you. So, what was when did you start here at SFPS as a student, and then let's talk a little bit about your journey as to where you're at right now. So you came in at third grade, correct?
That's right, yes. I came here to New Mexico to United States when I was in 3rd grade.
Okay.
So I was 8 years old.
Okay.
I came with my parents and with my little brother. I didn't know how to read in English. I didn't know how to speak in English to start with. I didn't know how to read in my own language, Spanish. I want to mention that when I got here, my education, it was really poor. I didn't know how to read. I barely understand how to add, how to subtract. I was really behind. In my classes, in my 3rd grade class, I was always crying, always frustrated because I didn't know how to do things. I was always asking for translation. I was always, kids used to bully me. They used to call me la burra de la clase, o la que no sabe nada. And that really hurt me because, I didn't know that. And it was a big, big frustration coming to a new country, but also not knowing how to speak with others.
Daunting for a 3rd grader too, right? I mean, being able to manage that, right,
Exactly.
as a 3rd grader.
Yeah. Then I passed to 4th grade. I had really bad grades. I want to say 5 Fs, Ds, and 1, 2 Cs. I had such bad grades. My academics were getting more frustrated. I was getting more frustrated. My teachers were telling me, first you need to know how to read and write in Spanish and then English. I was really, really upset. I asked God, I was like, God, why I'm like the dumbest person in this class. I always ask my mom, did they eat something or what happened to them that they know how to read and I don't? What happened? What can I do? And I had this mentality of always being inferior, always being less than others just because I didn't know how to read and write in my own language. And I didn't know any English, just like, good morning, how are you? And good.
Yeah.
Yes. So my teacher, Miss Salazar, she told me that I was going to repeat 4th grade. And I took that. You can't imagine. I went home crying. Crying. I was mad, sad. You can't imagine. I was crying the whole day. I was telling my mom, why? Like, why me? Why I'm the only one that doesn't know how to read? Why I don't know how to do all the stuff, why I'm not normal like them. I want to be like them. I want to be in the same level as them. My parents told me, me dijeron, mi hija, confía en Dios. Eres una gran persona, solo échale ganas. And I took that to consideration. I asked my dad, I told him, Dad, can you buy me whiteboards? He's like, whiteboards? I was like, yes. Can you buy me please 2 whiteboards? All confused, he went to Walmart. He got me 2 big whiteboards and I put them on front of my bed. And I saw my animal stuff on top of my bed every single day after school in my 2nd year, 4th grade. I sat them down and I pretended I was a teacher. And
wow.
I taught them. We read books. We did some math. How'd
you come up with that idea? Was that just something you came up with?
Yeah, myself.
Wow.
I put some animal stuff, some Barbies. I remember putting them on top of my bed. They had names. They had personalities. I remember my kitchen was a recess area, and then the bathroom was the office. My room was the classroom. And I remember every single day around 5 p.m. I was like, good afternoon, guys. We're starting class. And every assignment or every topic I didn't understand in school, I was always studying with my animal stuff. So I pretended I was a teacher. And I did that for hours, 3 hours. My mom called me. She was like, Mija, vente para comer. It's almost 7. I'm like, no, Mom, I need to teach them. They need to know how to read. They need to do this. They need to do that. I remember I took attendance for my animal stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I had like a whole schedule for math, for English, for writing. I spent hours and hours. Yes, sometimes I was tired. I was like, I want to play with my Barbies. I want to go out with my friends. But no, I was always there. And I converted that learning into having fun. And I believe that when you enjoy what you do, you're going to learn.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then in that, I remember in my fourth grade, my second year in fourth grade, I was really determined in being like my classmates.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be like my classmates.
Okay.
I remember I was like not trying to copy them, but I was trying to like read the same books, have almost the same reading style, because I wanted to be like them, to feel accepted into the community, to feel accepted in the group friend.
Yeah.
Yes. So then fifth grade comes. Thank God I knew how to read in Spanish. I practiced a lot of days. I knew how to read in Spanish. Now it was my English. I went to Reading Quest. I remember they helped me a lot. Yes, and I remember I was like the biggest girl, the tallest girl, but always there in my books. I also want to mention when I was in fourth grade, I felt so bad just because in fourth grade they sent me to first grade classes to read in my own language and in English too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had this mentality of, okay, I need to do more. I need to that extra.
You wanted to fast track your learning.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That extra hard work is going to pay off. I just need to be determined and I need to work hard. Maybe have fun time looks different for me, but I'm going to have fun time combine it with learning.
Okay.
Yeah. In fifth grade, it was mostly working on my English skills. Sixth grade, seventh grade, also working on my English skills. And then my eighth grade year, I was feeling a little bit more comfortable. I was determined and always working hard. I had my agenda. I remember I had like classes after school. I always made homework. I think those habits came from me struggling.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm a really determined person just because I know how to study. I know if there's no homework, yeah, I do have homework.
Yeah.
Yes. In eighth grade, I applied to Avid.
What made you apply to Avid?
Okay, so honestly, there was this like medical class in seventh grade.
Okay.
And I took it. I really liked it. It was a lot of work, but they didn't offer in eighth grade. But I wanted a class that...
And you went to Ortiz. Right, okay.
Yeah, Ortiz.
You went from Sweeney to Ortiz.
That's right.
Okay.
So in Ortiz, they told me, what class do you want to take? And I was like, okay, Avid. What is Avid? And my friends told me, oh, you read a lot. And I'm like, okay, I need to read a lot.
Yeah. At what point did you, so you started reading in English now, right? Your fifth grade year.
That's right.
And so how did you progress? Did you feel like you were satisfied with what you had accomplished in these 2 years of fourth grade to fifth grade?
I can say I started learning English when I was in fifth grade.
Okay.
I'm the oldest sisters. My parents don't know English. I don't have a family member that was sitting with me learning English, so everything was on my own. Obviously, there's a lot of improvement still now, but I feel happy for my progress. I feel happy that being the only one, the biggest sister, what I did with my English, because I was a reading quiz helped me a lot. In school, my friends helped me too, but it was most on my part, and I feel happy what I did. Yeah,
no, that's great. So you're in middle school.
Yeah, in eighth grade.
And you're in eighth grade.
Yes.
Okay.
So they told me you should apply to Avid, and I did apply. Oh my God, I was so nervous. I was so scared because they told me they're going to read out loud, and I don't like reading out loud. I didn't like it. I was so nervous. I was really nervous, really scared, because obviously my English fluency, it's not like everyone else. I struggle pronouncing words. I take a long time reading one sentence. So I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to read. I remember I applied. I was really happy with everything, like what they did. And then one day I remember my teacher, he told me, okay, you need to read that do now. It was like a paragraph. And I was like, I was overthinking everything. I was like, no, I don't want to read. It's not because I didn't want to. It's because I felt that everyone was going to.
You were self-conscious about
it. Exactly. Yeah. And then he told me, really, you're not going to give it a try? And I was like, I don't think so. I don't feel mentally ready to read.
Yeah.
And then he told me that the going out of your comfort zone is what going to define you. Is
Yeah.
what's going to define
That's
you.
great advice.
Exactly, your success and everything. And thanks to yes, my story, Mr. Torna, I want to include this. So in my sophomore year, well, my freshman year in Capital High School,
Yeah.
it was I really liked it. My teachers, they were always helping me, honestly, helping me if I had questions after school and everything. So I did it. I had all A's. Thank to God, I had all
That's
A's.
awesome. That's great.
Yeah, I was a really determined person. And then the beginning of the beginning of my sophomore year, my counselor told me that I will be a great candidate to be a AP Physics student. And
Oh, wow.
I was like, AP Physics? That's crazy. I was like, no, I'm not taking the class.
Yeah.
And I remember I was talking with Mrs. Tarnan. I was like, okay, they give me this opportunity. What can I do? He's like, try it. You will never know until you give it a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, okay, I would try. In my sophomore year, I went to sleep 3 a.m., 4 a.m. trying to understand the concept like gravitational motion, kinetic potential energy, all those topics.
Yeah.
It was really hard, but thanks to him, thanks to my tutors, Victory tutors, I did it. I feel really happy I took that class because that class, it's really challenging, yes, but it helped me how to be a determined person and a disciplined person. That if you don't get in the class, go home and study. And remember those whiteboards, the whiteboards I was
Yeah,
telling
the
you?
whiteboards, yeah.
Yeah. I use them for my AP Physics.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
still
great.
have them. I still have them, yeah.
So as far as, I mean, the progression that you made from fourth grade, struggling, not knowing how to, read in Spanish,
Yeah.
and then going into fifth grade, learning English, and then reading in English. When did you feel that you kind of turned the corner of like, I'm not thinking about if I can read in English or in Spanish anymore, but I'm really focusing on the task at hand? As far as like, that's not a barrier anymore for me. At what point did you feel that way?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it was in my middle school, either before 8th grade or after 8th grade. I had this mentality of, no, I don't want to be like them. I want to have more discipline. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I had that mentality because that extra work you put in, that extra effort you put in, it's what's going to throw you to success.
Yeah.
So before freshman year, I had this mentality of taking rigorous classes, taking more classes, honestly, taking advantage of all opportunities I have. I'm on that type of person. I will say yes to an opportunity.
Yeah.
No matter if it's really hard, like AP Physics, no matter if it's having, doing extra work, I'm always saying yes, because for everything, God will provide you with opportunities for everything you can learn. If it's good, bad, you are going to learn from it. Yeah.
So I know that we're I just think about the little fourth grade Azul,
Yes.
And now in the Avid program, now you've been selected nationally to go and speak in front of teachers, and like Mr. Tarnow had said at the beginning, and that would you have thought in fourth grade or even in third grade when you first got here that look how far you've come, but to be able to be selected nationally to share your story, like with everybody, with teachers and administrators in Anaheim, isn't that pretty remarkable, right?
Yes. Honestly, no, I didn't thought I was going to get accepted or have this type of opportunity. Just because my fourth grade year, I always felt less. I always felt that I didn't know. I mean, not knowing how to read always put me this like barrier where no, I can't be like them. I can't. But thanks to me in middle school and my mentality and always teaching my animal stuff 4-5 hours a day, being tired but still making the class helped me understand that no matter where you come from, no matter your background, you can do it. If you have the discipline, if you have the mentality, you can do it. I mean, I can say back then I would say 5 Fs, and now my GPA is it's incredible. I'm like, I work for the GPA. I work for those classes, and everything gets paying off, and I see it. And many teenagers believe that, oh yeah, my parents don't speak English, or education is not. I'm not doing that great in those classes, but just know that discipline and with the help of God, everything is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had olives, and now I'm like on top of the top of the
You're top in your high percentage in
yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Ranking wise in your what was that, Mr. Tarnow?
But I think she's number 1 right now in her junior class.
Oh wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. So for students like Azul, when do you guys start to? I mean, you get involved in the Avid program. At what point do you start talking to them about what their plans are for their next steps of when they, after, if they're going to go to college or what they're going to do? When is that right away? Is that like, it seems like to me in year 1, that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to eventually go to college, correct?
Yeah, going back to 8th grade, we go into the middle schools. We did this with all the feeder middle schools into Capital right before spring break. And we interview. I mean, not everybody that's in Avid in 8th grade is guaranteed to be in Avid when they get to Capital. And one of those first we ask, by now, if you're here, Avid is a program to get you into college. Why do you want to go to college? And the first question we really ask them is, not that they have to memorize what Avid stands for, but that the part at the end there is that individual determination. And I mean, just hearing Azul's story now, you heard her talk about being determined an awful lot. And it's some of those interviews are really good, but until you start to see students daily, and that's the benefit we have of the Avid elective class is I see Azul, I see my students in Avid every single day. And yeah, it's from the beginning. We start looking at, personality matchups, career type. We're not asking freshmen to figure out what they're going to do with the rest of their life, but what are their interests? Where do they, that can guide their classwork in high school, and then what they're interested in. And our goal is for all of our students to go to college. We know that's not necessarily the best plan or what everybody has desired, but I could see early in Azul, and this is my first time doing the Avid program. So, her freshman year is my first year teaching Avid, and I have not seen that individual determination in any other student the way I've seen from her. Like we have really great students. I have really awesome kids. I have kids that are going to do wonderful, great things, get great scholarships. But we were just having a conversation on the way over here about mistakes. You heard her talk about like you can do anything if you put in the work, and we're talking about mistakes. And she recently was worried about a mistake in a class she made, a lab or something, and and I was talking, in my experience, it's hard to get adults to admit honestly when they make mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's what learning is. I mean, not to go back, but that's what we listened to, Raquel, when we listened to that podcast early in the year.
Yeah.
There's a lot about what learning is, and it's making mistakes. And I think sometimes there is a lot of pressure on students, and that we can't make mistakes. It's going to ruin our GPA. Our whole future it's all over now. And I'm learning this in the classroom as well. And as I get older, that's really where the magic is. That's where you start to realize I can do anything.
Yeah.
I may not get it right the first time, but as long as I'm willing to take something positive out of that and make myself better for it. Like that's the whole point, you know? So yeah. And so now by this time, junior year, we are already researching our colleges that we'll be applying to in the fall. We'll be getting all the seniors back in August, and like there's like deadlines, you know, all the way up to August, September, and October to start getting early applications in and early decisions and scholarships. And so we're starting, you know, as far as actual preparing for what colleges we're going to be applying to, we're doing that right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. I want to, before we go, because we're running a little bit out of time here, and I appreciate it. I would like to have you on again after in your senior year, maybe to get an update, right? For sure. But I want to talk to you about this because again, there's people that did listen to Raquel's podcast, and I think, and we've had a couple of students on, right? We had a coder from Capital.
Raul.
Raul. And I asked him, I wanted him to share with some people that were watching him to send a message out to the folks that may be listening to this, that they can listen and be inspired by it. What would be that message that you'd like to share? And you can share it in Spanish or in English, whatever you wish to do. But someone that's listening that's struggling right now, maybe in a third grader that's struggling right now in as far as being able to get through and persevere. But what would you tell that third grader?
Well, I have a few. So the first one will be life. There's always problems in life. Always. I mean, life, it's not a life if you don't have problems, right? There's always problems. There's always barriers that are in your way, but you need to be smart. You need to be smart knowing your ways, how to be there. I knew I wanted to read. I didn't know. In fifth grade, I didn't know how to read in English. So I was like, I'm going to make my classes. I'm going to study outside of class. I'm going to have extra homework. So know that you have ways of achieving your goal. The second one, it's have discipline and be determined. We were talking about how in Avid, they introduce us colleges and what you want to be. Always take opportunities. So as a junior, I have taken, for dual credits, I will say like 8 dual credit classes from culinary arts, photography, psychology, CPR, public speaking, and other classes. So, take all the opportunities you can.
Yeah.
Your future, it's bright, but know the opportunities you have. Take those opportunities and honestly be determined on what you want to be and where you want to land, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be a psychiatrist, and I know that's really big dream.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think I have my ways. I know what scholarships I want to apply. I know what university I want to go. So be determined or where you want to be.
Yeah.
And also ask for help.
Yeah.
Ask for help. For teenagers, adults, everyone, they don't like to ask for help.
Yeah.
But always ask for help. Admit if you are wrong. Everyone makes mistakes, but always try to learn from them and try to have solutions.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a great message, Azul. I'd like to thank you guys both for coming on today. It's very inspiring, to know that we have students out there that are able to share stories that hopefully reach and inspire other students that may be going through the same struggles, which we know there are many students out there that come over, that come and they don't know how, speak English speak English and read also Spanish and in English, and to know that perseverance and hard work,
yes,
right, and that's so great, Azul. It's amazing, and looking forward to seeing where and having you back on to talk about. Hey, I'm going here, and this is what's going to happen, and we can have a part 2 to this conversation.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I just want to say, not just inspiring students, it's inspiring me and a lot of us other teachers that are out there. I'm really grateful to have a student like Azul in my classroom.
Yeah, I know that when we were there, I got the video. We posted it on. We got a lot of views on that, but it was so great. And I know that the teachers and the admin at Capitol and principal were just Lisa. We're so happy and very proud of you and like they are a lot of their students. But it's just amazing that we can celebrate those things and thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on. Folks, thank you for watching and listening. This has been Inside Santa Fe Public Schools podcast. We want to thank you. I want to thank our director, producer, Tara Melton, and want to thank you folks also for joining us. Folks, have a safe week. Have a great week. Adios.